The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Why, hi there, it's me, Uncle Ron. Welcome to the program. Taping this on March 5th, 2022. I have reached 79 games into my 1977 Boston Red Sox replay, and I think it's time for me to share my results with you. Now, a couple caveats here. I'm not doing as played. I'm doing as carded. And because of one particular pitcher who should never have been carded for the Boston Red Sox, and no, I'm talking about someone who I think threw 8 innings all year, I'm essentially doing this replay with 24 virtual cards. Okay, there's no one to send up or bring down or anything like that. I have 14 batters and 10 pitchers. And that's how I'm getting through the year. It's exciting, but it's been a heck of a lot of fun. We're going to go through some numbers, show you some stats and some standings, and just like I did with the Islander video. So through 79 games, I am done with the games through July 3rd, 1977. And it's been a blast to play. I started this one obviously in the last version of Strat I had. This is part of a long-term project that I have of playing from 77 to 90. The Red Sox and all the teams that I grew up in loving, essentially. And so let's see if I can get farther than what Don Zimmer got farther or did in real life. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Shall we? Let's start with some general numbers here. You can see the winning percentage is kind of like, someone's flat line there. We've been right around 60% most of the year. We started off rough and picked it up. Runs per game, my God, we can score. We're coming back down to earth. I think we're finally now below 6 a game. And somehow, some way, the pitching isn't great, but it's done the job. It's been very steady. You can see there, early May, we were about 5 runs a game, and now about 4.5. Home runs, oh, can we slap home runs? 110 dingers for 79 games. We're, as a team, we're hitting 297. Of course, the rest of the American League is hitting 284 against us. And in such a rare thing for a Red Sox replay, our opponents have left more on base than we have. 574 for us, 611 for the rest of the American League. Steals, the Red Sox just aren't going to do it. And I try to go for steals when my opponent has more than a 65% chance, but you've got to be able to get the jump, and I just won't do it otherwise. So don't worry about the steal number. I do play it to both fair for both teams. Walks, the Red Sox have drawn 246 and thrown 209. And double plays turned. Somehow they've turned 97 double plays. Rick Burleson is a good shortstop. Denny Doyle is okay at second. George Boomer Scott, fine at first. And Butch Hobson, thank God it's not 78 because he's just some kind of terrible. All right. Before we get to the Red Sox stats, let's show you where I'm not playing any National League games. This is all American League. The Yankees are 51-30 halfway home. Their magic number is 80, and they are 5 games ahead of where they were in real life. The Red Sox are 47-32. We are 2 games ahead of pace, and we would need to finish 50-32 to win 97, which I think is doable. I mean, this Red Sox offense is incredible. The Orioles, who I think probably had the best overall team in the American League East, are 6 back, 45-36, and they've matched. By God, can they pitch. Detroit, Milwaukee, Cleveland, meh. And Toronto at 28-50. We'll take that. In the West, Kansas City, a 2-game lead over Texas and 7.5 over Oakland. That might be actually a big surprise. Kansas City playing 6 games above where they were in real life, and Texas is +7. How about that? Chicago, who were the darlings of the American League West the first half of the year, 36-42. Seattle, 5 games below where they should be at 30-52. Not sure what this shows. Oh, yeah. Overall record, the Orioles, you can see them there. Home teams, a 55% winning percentage. Road, 448. left-handed starters have won 52% of their games, and righties have only won 490 winning percentage. The Red Sox 12-8 in April, 17-10 in May, 18-11 in June, and that 0-3 in July you see is against the Orioles. In the division, we are 24-19. Out of the division, and it's 10 against each team, so it's 70 games out of the division and 92 within. They're 23-13. We have a run differential of 127. The Yankees have a run differential of 81. Anything else I want to show you here? So that's that for that. League leaders, Rod Carew hitting .392. We're not going to go through these all. Bobby Bonds, 27 homers. He's driven in 71 for the Angels. Again, no trades. It's all with who you were carded with last is how we're going through here. Let's see. Rick Burleson, 351 at-bats. Remember, though, we only have 24 cards. Grand totals as a team. The Red Sox lead the American League in hitting at .297. We lead the league in home runs with 110. Detroit is 92. The Yankees have 85. We've stolen 10 bases. Kansas City sold 103. Computer does all that. I've been thrown out 14 times. We've only made 48 errors. How about that? ERA, I told you. Baltimore really should have won the American League East. A 3.17 ERA, 45-36. And an opposing average of .236. The league overall is hitting .268. Red Sox right, mid-pack, 4.17 ERA, .284 opponent batting average. We do strike out a fair amount of hitters, 4.13, top of the table kind of. Not too shabby. Man, the American League could hit. We have an on-base percentage of .354. Minnesota at .351, Texas at .360. An OPS of .828. That is almost 100 points above the league average. If you're a fan of Seattle, I'm sorry. I've only walked myself twice. I hate intentionally walking myself. It really doesn't do much for me. My job is to win, but if it's an obvious situation, I'll do it. Computer's only thrown 201 overall. Strikeouts 476. I've plunked 20 or been plunked 20 times. I've bunted 24 times. 27 sac flies. We've got it into 82 double plays. And Fenway, 66 homers for the Red Sox. That's the most by a mile. Pitching wise, we have 11 complete games and 3 shutouts and 20 saves. I've thrown 8 intentional walks. Okay, so that's not too bad. 1 balk, 9 wild pitches, 4 passed balls, with runners and inherited runner scores 307 rate. That's well below the league average, which is awesome. And defensively, we're pretty good. Is that 776? 776. That's the best strat fielding in the league. How about that? Fielding grand totals, 985 real fielding percentage, and that is, again, the best in the league. 9 outfield assists, 48 errors, 97 double plays. When the people do try to steal against me, 13-5. So Fisk and Montgomery are not the world's best at doing that. Manager profiles. Okay, so this is more about how I approach things. I've tried 24 steals. I have a success rate of 41.7%. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. And I don't like Chicago isn't really fleet of foot. They have 28. The Yankees have tried 28. I'm not Kansas City, and they are successfully flying in an 80% range. I've tried to bunt sack bunts 27 times. Again, that's not the worst in the league. I've made 24. Who's trying to play the most small ball? Texas with 51, the Twins with 45. So, again, not terrible, not great. I have tried to squeeze once, and it worked. It worked. Hit and run 28. I do try to move runners along. I've advanced 21. In fact, that's 4th in the league. And I've actually had 11 base hits with that. behind the Yankees and the Royals. So I do try to play some small ball, but the Red Sox are not fleet of foot. Board game breakdowns. I've had ballpark homers aplenty. Chances 63, and I've converted 47. Ballpark singles, 135 attempts. I've converted 91. Fenway is just, oh boy. 11 clutch hits. That leads the American League. 6 clutch outs. I'm time for that. Tired pitchers. I try to get my pitchers out of there beforehand. Infield in. I've taken advantage of it twice, and 2 hits with runners held on. Defense. Now, again, here's the downside of playing at Fenway Park. 57 ballpark homers, and they've converted 36 against me. 147 ballpark single attempts, and they've converted 90 against me. 3 clutch hits, 6 clutch outs, and I probably have thrown a pitcher tired a time or 2. So, not bad, but that tells you how I compare to the rest of the league in that. Here's the specifics. As we said, Dennis Leonard has 13 wins. Jim Palmer, 12. Ron Guidry and Dave Goltz, 11. None of my pitchers have 10. Saves. Bill Campbell leads the league with 16. Campbell was a lot better in Strat than he was in real life. Sparky Lyle and Enrique Romo are next. ERA leaders aren't going to be any Red Sox on there. Dennis Leonard at 2.22. Rudy May at 2.33. Gardner will be happy about that. Nolan Ryan, Jim Palmer, and Joe Coleman. Batting average, Rick Burleson's hitting 342. Home runs, George Scott is 19. RBI, Jim Rice is 65. That's third. Steals, pretty much all out west. LaFleur surprises me at 29. We just played the Tigers not so long ago, and his chances of stealing were not great. Strikeouts, of course, Nolan Ryan has struck out 146. We are finally home against Toronto. We should get some wins back in that column. All right, so let's take a look at the Red Sox numbers then, shall we? I told you this team is all offense. In fact, they are, after 79 games, averaging 6 runs a game and only giving up 4.39. Again, not great, but when you're scoring like that, you're going to be good. We play well at Fenway, 24-17. We play well on the road, 23-15. We bomb lefty and righty starters to equal success. 1-2 in extra inning games. 1-run games, 9-6. I really think that your 1-run record is pretty indicative of how good a manager is. Not that I toot my own horn, but if you can win the one-run games, you're going to be overall a more successful team. Longest winning streak of the year is 8. We've matched our longest losing streak at 3. You can tell 16 times this year the Red Sox have scored 10 runs or more. 11 times we've scored 6. And we have been shut out 5 times, which I find pretty hard to believe, and held to a run 3 times. The Red Sox pitching, again, under 3 runs a game, 24-13, 35 times we've held American League teams to under 3 runs or under. And 9, 10, 21 times or more, they've scored 7. Now, how are we against other teams in the American League? The Orioles have our number, and I'm not surprised. The ballpark effects for Memorial Stadium are punitive. That is a pitcher's paradise. We only play them 6 more times. We are 2-7. It's 15 against the East and 10 against the West. The Indians, we get 9 more times. We should be doing better than 500. The Tigers, we play 7 more times. Milwaukee, we play 9 more times. We haven't lost to them yet. The Yankees, we only have 5 more games, and we're 500 against them. I'm thrilled with that. The Blue Jays, 11 more against Toronto. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got wins in my tummy. So 24-19 against the East. Outside of Baltimore, I'm quite happy with that record, and I don't know whether or not where we've played Cleveland. We must have done 1 road and 1 home series. Against the West, we'll take that. Remember, we play everybody 10 times, and if I finish 46-26 against the West, we will take it. We have winning records against everybody but Oakland. In Seattle, we only play 4 more times. So, pretty consistent with that. I'm happy with how we played against Kansas City. And so, again, like I said, 42 or 45 wins against the West. 639, I think, gets it done. Now the page you all want to look at. Here are the primary stats. And yeah, 297 as a team. Okay. With only 24 cards, that makes it very difficult because you're going to get over usage. But look, we have 5 batters hitting over 300. Rick Burleson's hitting 342 as a leadoff hitter. Yes, and he's walked 21 times. 20 doubles. 33 RBI. He should be able to steal bases. He can't. He's stolen 2. He's been thrown out 6 times and committed 12 errors. Jim Rice, not the MVP in 77. He did lead the league in homers. Hitting 330, only 14 homers, pretty much at the break, but he's driven in 65. We won't talk about those, grounding into 12 double plays. He is on pace for a 200 hit year. Burleson, my goodness, on pace for a 240 hit year. Steve Dillard pretty much playing only against lefties because Denny Doyle can't hit lefties for anything, hitting pretty well. And Bernie Carbo makes it difficult because Carbo, Rick Miller, Fred Lynn, and Dwight Evans all have too much usage, but Carbo can pound it. I mean, look, he's got 18 home runs. How do you leave Carbo on the bench? Dewey must have gotten hurt. Yaz hitting 319. We'd give him a day off every once in a while. He can play first. He's driven in 60, smashed 12 homers, and was thrown out once trying to steal. Rick Miller has half of our stolen bases. Carlton Fisk, you'd think he'd be worn down. He's caught in 74 of our 79 games. I think he came in a couple times off the bench. 10 homers, 43 RBI, one of 7 Red Sox players the first half of the year to hit double digits in dingers. Denny Doyle is hitting 285. Don't ask me why. His card isn't that great. Butch Hobson, again, that card is a mixed bag, but he's hit 17 homers. Fred Lynn, remember after he smashed the wall in the 75 season, it wasn't that great. It wasn't as good as he was, but still, very productive numbers for him. Dwight Evans, he's our worst regular. He's hitting 261. Hasn't driven a lot of runs, but that's okay. He hasn't needed to. Bob Montgomery has played 6 games, and Tommy Helms has played 9. Pitching rise, it's Hernandez, who I think only threw 5 or 6 innings. So that really, takes us down to what we can. But Bill Campbell, 30 times out of the pen, he's converted 16 saves in 47 innings. He'll never get all the innings that he should. I really, as part of a manager, I'm kind of concerned if he gets too many 9-out outings. I want to be able to use him the next day. So 3-2 with a 1.91 ERA and 43 strikeouts. Jim Willoughby has also overperformed for me. 20 times out, an ERA 2.83 and an ERA, a one-loss record of 4-0. Rick Wise, Bill Lee, Fergie Jenkins, Louis Tiant, Don Asse. We really have about 8 starters here. Tiant and Jenkins are the best 2. And they're okay. Fergie 8-5 with a 4.13 ERA, and Tiant, 6-6 with a 4.32 ERA. But they give up the long ball, especially Fergie. If this team somehow makes the playoffs, don't ask me who I would go with in a game 1. Rick Wise has pitched incredibly well. Bill Lee, kind of off and on. He can relieve. I'd rather use him as a starter. He does have a shutout. Bob Stanley and Mike Paxton somehow are better as starters than they are relievers. And don't ask me how Reggie Cleveland is 8-4 with an ERA of 5.5. But somehow it works. So secondary stats, you can see 66 homers at home. Carbo with 12. Scott with 13. Yaz with 10. 24 for 27 in bunts. And we've had 3 grand slams. Carbo, Rice, and Scott. And I don't pinch hit very often. You really don't need to. Dewey's pinch hit. Lynn has pinch hit. Carbo has pinch hit. And Yaz somehow came in as a pinch hitter. Now, home runs allowed. Cleveland and Jenkins aren't real fans of Fenway. We only get up 30 on the road, which isn't too bad. Games finished. Campbell, Paxton, or Willoughby. Save opportunities. Campbell has blown 4. Stanley has blown 4. And Willoughby has blown 3. So that's conversion isn't too great. But Campbell has done the job. He's my guy. And like I said, I'll go 6 outs. But I'm always worried about what I got to do the next day. Longest hitting streaks, Burleson 15, Rice 17, Yaz 16, Scott 15. Lefty-righty splits, if you care, they're hitting .301 against lefties. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And pitching against lefties, well, the less we say about that, the better. Denny Doyle hitting 3. Wow. So the reason why Dillard and Doyle platoon, Dillard hits lefties at a 360 clip compared to Doyle at 114. Righties, Doyle hits them at 325 compared to Dillard's 211. On base percentage, 354. Carbo gets on at a 419 clip. Runs created, one of my favorite stats. Jim Rice has created 60.3. Rick Burleson 55.6. Runs created per 27. Bernie Carbo is my most productive player at 12.49. And look at his OPS. 1185. Total bases, Rice, 174. Opponent batting average. Who's my best pitcher? Bill Campbell at 194, for instance. Again, all of my starters just aren't. Ossey's the only one that's close with 9 hits per 9. Run support, we give him 6 runs a game. Reggie Cleveland, how is he 8 and whatever? He gets 7.5 runs a game. That's why. Who's my hard luck pitcher? Mike Paxton. Somehow they only give him 3.5. Inherited runners, I made the switch for 140 runners on base, 77 in scoring position, and only 43 have scored. That's not too bad. The whip, let's not talk about that. Strat fielding, again, they're quite good. Yaz can't make an error. Lynn, I don't think, can make an error. So the outfield is fantastic. Burleson, 776, that's short. And he's had 98 X chances. He converted 76 of them. Not real concerned about that. Dillard somehow is a better second baseman than Doyle. Carbo has a great arm and right, but he's not a great fielder. And Jim Rice is a DH most of the time. So when you do that, that's pretty good. Traditional, you can see him how I've broken players down. Rice has played 10, not had an outfield error this year. That's amazing. And Freddie's just very good in center field. And yeah, Rice and Yaz are ready to play right field. Evans somehow has played 5 games in center. I know this is just a jumble of numbers, so we won't leave this up this long. But let's just say I won't really comment on this, but it just goes. I mean, it's impressive. And there's the feeling. My starters are 37 and 27 with an ERA of 4.22. And my relievers have an ERA of 4.02. So my relief has done quite well. And those are the numbers of how the pitcher's there. You can pause that if you really care. Daily log, we'll just let this scroll for a minute. You can see how far. I don't think we've been below third place, and maybe our current 3 games is our worst position. That's the most we've been out all year. And just coming off a long road trip, and Baltimore just swept us 3, so. But in the 3 games against Baltimore, we gave up a whopping 9 runs. And gave up a lot of hits. Palmer, Flanagan, and May held us to 17 hits in 3 games. So hopefully we're home again for a while. All right, so that's where we are. Halfway home in the 77 season. Again, 25 card. That's my limit. And so I only have 24 players for that. And having a blast with it. Remember, that's what it's all supposed to be. It's all supposed to be fun. So thank you so much. We'll probably do another one with 40 games or so to go. I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you the next time.